What's up, everybody?
Hey.
I'm Ethan. Fight me on this.
I'm Jill. I coach Jill.April.
And welcome back. Here we be. Shifting the Lens podcast.
We're happy to have you.
Yeah. Hard enjoys is how we start. I don't know. Episodes, I don't care. We made it to 10. Now we're past that.
We're in the double digits. It doesn't matter till we hit triple digits.
Well, 13 will be funny because that's my number, but that's then after that it's quarter century, half century, century. We'll deal with those later. That's too much information.
Ow.
Hi. Yeah, we do hard enjoy it. Holy crap! And as you can tell, it's nighttime here. This is weird. We don't usually shoot at night. This is fun.
Nice.
It's chill.
It's only 6 o'clock, but it's basically midnight. But yeah, we don't often record at night. So if you're sensing a different vibe, it's after hours, but it's not spicy today.
Not spicy.
Don't panic. You're safe.
We'll warn you.
Don't worry. Hard. My hard is just an ADHD thing. And I will preface this by saying, to some people, you're going to be like, that's a dumb hard. That's fine. You can think it's dumb. I am notorious for paying my credit card 1 second late. And it would be better in my brain if I missed my credit card due date by weeks, days at least. Because then it's hey, I genuinely forgot. I don't. I spend the whole day my credit card is due being pay your credit card, go pay your credit card, you gotta pay your credit card, you should pay your credit card when you get home. And then I don't pay my credit card when I get home. And usually it's the next day. I wake up in the morning and there's a moment of silence and Ethan's what? And I'm forgot to pay my credit card. This month, I was literally late by the minute. At 9:55 our time. I was oh my God, I got to pay my credit card. And I was I'm good. I got time. Go in, pay it, process. Forget that it processes in Eastern time. So it processed my payment at 12:01 the next day. And then I was mad about it because I had all day to pay it. So if you didn't know, you can indeed call your credit card company and be hey, yo, help me with that late fee. And sometimes they'll help you out. So they did indeed reverse it because they saw that I was so close to paying it on time. But yeah, it's just it shouldn't bother me anymore because I've been doing it for years, but it still bothers me that I just can't pay it on time. And somebody's going to be set it up as an automatic payment. I don't keep enough money in my personal bank account to have an automatic payment. But yeah, it might be a silly hard for some people, but that's it.
Today in particular, hard is being in a body that's in pain all the time. Or I spent a lot of time in pain throughout my life. Which is neither here nor there. I am quite tough. I can take it. And it's not the physical pain that actually wins out. It's the repetitiveness of it. It's the constant. It's the having it figured out 1 minute and then it's not figured out the next. It's a part of navigating trauma. It's a part of navigating CPTSD. It's a part of this whole bit of how trauma is stored in the body. But yeah, this week the pain really got up there as I navigated an episode. And it's just, yeah, I can just try to say it a different way a million different times and it will still not land with everybody. But you can see I'm tired. I'm worn out from navigating just what I've been going through the last few days here. So yeah, this week's hard is just having to be tough all the time.
Yeah, and it's hard because there's not really. Most people are in pain, you take some Advil. Most people are sick, you take some medicine. There's not a solution for you, unfortunately, most of the time.
Yeah, of course, I can take the narcotics that I save when they give them to me when I go in for the major injuries I wind up having. Because I don't actually like narcotics. I don't like going to the hospital. I hate it. I just wind up there. So I always keep them. Fun fact about Ethan. I keep my narcotics. I don't actually take them. So when I need them, I can, because the pain that I experience in my body when I have the flashback and the reoccurring episodes is buckle knees bad. It's like not being able to walk. If there are moments where I have no strength, no ability to move, and it's wildly painful. So, I usually save it for that, but then what? Then I have to stay in that comatose state or passed out. Uh, and that, like, wears on your mental health. I'm preaching to the choir for lots of you that know what it's like to be down and out at all away from the gym, let alone in a body that's just failing you. I'm speaking to a lot of people that understand chronic pain right now. There's just no reprieve sometimes. Yeah, of course I can, but I'm fucking tired of having to. So that's just, yeah, that's the hard. And I know that lands with a lot of people, especially chronic pain sufferers, survivors, navigators. Yeah, that's my hard. Joy?
My joy is watching Ethan form a new connection, bring a new human into his life, our life. His connection, but like we live in the same house, so that's why I say his life, our life.
Yeah, actually, we should talk about that a little bit because I'm sure it's confusing for some people. There isn't, like, the only time that we distinguish between the two of us is when it's trying to help you guys understand whose person's coming into our space or who we're talking about when we're navigating it. This is our life that we do together, but even as we do that in this life, and being poly is the fact that we are also still individuals, and we also still have our own things and do things on our own. And so when you hear the double down, it's just to help you guys and help it land.
Yeah, like his person, but they also get the perk of
Yeah,
hanging
they
out
connect
with me.
with the people in our space, and that's the beauty of it. So,
But yeah, watching you just like form a new connection with somebody who gets it, somebody who can support you in different ways, in more ways, in some of the same ways. But just watching you have another person on your side is always cool. And like we have had a shift, which we'll talk about at some point, but it's impacted how I air quote normally am in this life. So that was frustrating me a lot, and it was just nice to like have a person in our space and like watch you connect and have that moment of like, oh yeah, no, this is why I live this life. This is how I'm meant to live this life, and just like that reassurance selfishly on my end of like, oh no, yeah, I do this for a reason, and then just watching you get to like be excited about a new human and be excited for them to meet your people, and yeah, just having another human on your side.
yeah, yeah, and my joy is the same thing, just from my point of view. Getting to make a new connection, and a connection over the last little while here that's blossomed into something pretty cool, and just a neat moment to be able to bring them into my space and into our space and just have a great time. Get to hear one of my favorite things is when I get to, we come out of the gym or we come from outside the house, and I'm a germaphobe that way. So I always like have to shower at some point before I sit on the couch because it stresses me out. And so every time I go to shower, I can hear everybody in the house just mingling and chilling and talking and laughing. And there's just something that every time I hear it, no matter who's in here, there's always an extra body in here that's just accepting the space and taking it up with the rest of my people. And that will always bring me joy. It'll always fill my cup and fill my soul every time. So it's nice to make that connection. It's nice that they assimilated themselves in here so quickly, and get to continue fostering whatever this connection looks like and whatever it turns out to be. It's exciting. It's exciting stuff.
Me. Yeah, speaking of our life, I've been asked this question
A lot.
so many times, and like my deepest apologies for just ignoring you all. It wasn't.
They're not actually sorry, because there's no reason to be sorry. That you're allowed
I
to take time
just
to answer the
didn't
question.
want to answer it yet. Okay.
No, like there's a lot, and I'm sure you can tell them why you didn't want to. But let's start with the question itself.
The question I've gotten is
how did you tell your people?
And
namely,
more
directly in Jill's case, how did you, love, tell your motherfucking parents?
Yeah, everybody has asked me, how'd you tell your family? How did your family take it?
But that's okay.
Yeah, I've gotten it in every variation of words and combination of family, parents, sister, mom, dad. I heard you all. I was just ignoring you. But like,
With love, though,
I'm
with
ready to
reason,
talk
with
about it now.
intention. Yeah.
It was always my intent to answer the question. It just felt pointless to answer it every time by being like, I'll answer this eventually. So here I be answering your question. And I will preface this by like, anything I say, I've already had the conversation with my family. So I'm not like spilling the tea. I'm not giving you guys pieces of information. I'm
I
not.
mean, like you can still like yes, girl, all you want, because like
Yeah.
there's things that she'll stand on business in here, but
But
it's
like the conversation has already been had with my family. Part of my reason of the delay was like I need to handle it with them before I'm just like, here,
world.
podcast. They well, I didn't
We
do
kind
a
of
great
did.
job.
We kind of did.
So
I'm gonna throw you under the bus. You kind
yeah.
of did.
So
Hey, I supported you, so I'm here for it.
I told my family the same time I told the internet. And some people are going to be like, you did what? That's fine. You tell your family about your shit however you want. But it was, I just know like family.
I just the way you're doubling down, staying on your business, baby. Like
I don't even know how I started. Oh, I told them we were poly, non-monogamous first. And then that turned into telling them I was poly. Left the gay out. Just was like they don't need to know that yet.
We're gonna hurt them with the fact that you're poly first.
I was like one thing at a time. So I think I actually like officially was like, here's the life I'm living when I was in Nashville. Because when I was in Nashville, I was like, fuck everyone. I'm over it. And I was just like, listen, if they're gonna blow up my life in Nashville, I'm gonna just put it all on the table. So I was bawling, FaceTiming my parents in Nashville, telling them about how terrible my trip in Nashville was. And then a little voice in my brain was like, keep going. Just keep going. Like I was like, here's how it's gonna be. I'm not friends with these people. One of the people I was with in Nashville was basically family. So I was like, don't talk to me about them. I'm over it. And then I was like, we're just going to keep going. And that spiraled into, by the way, I'm with Ethan. You know this. We're poly. Yep. And then I don't actually think my parents fully heard me in that moment. But that's fine. I just kept going. Told them all my things. And then we did a photo shoot. What, like a month later? When did we do the photo shoot with Kaylee?
When Nicola was here?
Yeah.
3 weeks, maybe?
Yeah, like month-ish after Nashville. So my parents didn't really say anything when I told them in Nashville, and I was like, weird, but okay.
It was only a couple weeks since Nicola was here, like, right after that.
I was like, weird, but okay. They're processing a lot. And then a couple weeks later, we did a photo shoot with Kaylee, and we've used many of her pictures on podcast graphics. With Nicola, and I wanted to share the pictures, but I was like, I haven't told my family. Like, I haven't told my family I'm gay, and I haven't told my family I have more than one partner. So I was just like, sitting at the kitchen table, I'm like, Kaylee's like, do you want me to take you in the photos? And I was like, yeah, fuck it, take me in the photos. And she's like, I don't have to. I'm like, no, take me in the photos. And then I wanted to share them, but I was like, oh, I should tell my family first. And then in unison, everyone in this house was like, no, you don't. So then I was like, Kaylee, tag me in them, make me a collaborator if you want. So I just started sharing the photos. I think I shared one of the three of us, and I think I wrote a little blurb about being poly. And that's how I officially told my family. I said, well, they can find out.
We should get a little soundboard we can install clapping. Woo! Yeah, go Jill.
Yeah, because I was like,
solid, tough talk though. Like
I was like, no, like I'll tell them and then I'll share the photos. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna share the photos. It was how I felt the safest, and I've had this conversation with my parents. Like, I feel like most of the decisions I've made in my life have been met with questions of whys, of are you sure, of do you want to think about it? And I just didn't have it in me to be questioned on this choice I had made for myself. So I was like, they can find out with everyone else. They can ask questions later. And yeah, that was that.
Yeah, was it?
And then I went to family dinner next week, and they were like, actually, I think I just went to their house, but they were like, you didn't want to tell us before you told the rest of the world. And I was like, no. And told them, I was like, that's just like how I felt the safest. Like, it's whatever. My parents admitted they had to Google some stuff. That's fine. The internet will tell you what you need to know.
Or too much?
And like with all the love, they also could have asked. Like just because I put it on the internet, like they still could have came to me with questions. But they did some research themselves, figured out what I was up to. I explained a little bit more of like what that means for me and what that looks like for me. Um, and was very upfront about like I'm not here to justify why I'm doing it. I'm not here to convince you it's a good idea. This is what I'm up to. Welcome to my life.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And like I will give my parents credit that like they're trying. They ask sometimes. My extended family doesn't ask anything, which is fine. I understand that my life is terrifying to all of them. But yeah, my parents are aware of Ethan. They're aware of the people I want to make them aware of. I also think there's a piece of living this life where like not everybody needs to know everything all the time. Um, I don't feel the need to talk about like every date I go on or every person I go to coffee with or every person that walks into our house. I think using some discretion is important and like safe for me to just be like, you will know what I choose to tell you,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't have to be every detail of everything.
Yeah, and how was that for you in the weeks after? Like even as you navigated, like between then and now has been a minute.
Yeah.
Like maybe talk about the time because like I can say in the last 5 days, in particular 6 days, it's been weird hearing some of the communication between you and your family. Not in a bad way, in like a I beg your pardon.
Something shifted. Yeah. I think like in the time of me telling them I was poly, telling them I was gay was also a time of me being fairly distant with my family. Like that's probably an important piece. Like my relationship with my family was not what it used to be, and I was going through a phase of like still am of setting some pretty hard boundaries with my family and recovering from being a people pleaser, recovering from worrying about what they're going to think first, uh, getting used to making decisions for me instead. So I can see it from my parents' side of like that was probably a little bit alarming and jarring to just be like, what is our daughter up to? Um, when in my like teen years, I told my parents everything all the time. So to kind of like disconnect and then full circle it back of like, here's my new life. Without really like, they didn't really get the like warning signs. I was just like, hi, welcome to my life. Um, yeah, it's been a minute and it's been like something has shifted in the last couple weeks. And I think that comes with just setting boundaries and like on my end, it's feeling that feeling of like your people figure it out if they want to. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
either you figure it out or you don't.
Yeah.
Um, I like didn't really give my parents an option to meet me with judgment and questions. Like I came out of the gates being like, don't do this to me, or I just like won't tell you about my life. So it was an adjustment period, and it was a lot of just like not talking about it. Like I would say things about you or our life and just kind of get no response, but I was like, I'm gonna keep saying it because this is my life. And I think now it's a little more accepted of like, oh, this is Jill's life and it's probably
Mm-hmm.
not going anywhere, so we should
Figure
figure it out a little bit.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I think like the most interesting shift has probably been my extended family. Like, I came home from family dinner the other night with my, like, grandparents and aunts and uncles. And it's just, like, noticing the shift in what people choose to ask me. People don't really ask me questions about my life anymore. Mm-hmm. My parents do. They still care about work. They still care about what we're up to, or at least ask about it. But, like, my extended family doesn't ask me questions about my life anymore, whether they realize they're doing it or not.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they realize.
Yeah.
Everybody
yeah.
does.
And not that this is like a...
No, that's a people thing. Everybody, you know when you're not talking to people.
It's also like part of my anxious brain is clocking all of those things. So when I walk into a room and nobody asks me any questions, I'm like, oh, you guys have already talked about this. You just didn't talk about it with me. Because I know there's no way people don't have questions about my life, which is fine.
Mm-hmm. You guys all do.
But if you're not asking me,
who are you asking?
Who are you asking?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you getting your info from? So, yeah, my whole family, all of them are monogamous. As far as I know.
I was just gonna say,
there might be some behind the scenes going on.
Get that text message one day?
Yeah, I hope I do. I hope there's somebody else in my family that's like...
The Auntie Shelby, like I do.
Yeah.
Auntie Shelby, we love you.
Yeah. To my knowledge, everybody in my family is monogamous, but it's just interesting to sit in a room with people who live a different life than you, and watch the questions get asked and not have them asked to you. And, like, I'm not dumb. I can put the pieces together why we're not asking, because we used to. I used to at least get asked about my job. Mm-hmm. My job hasn't changed, just in case anybody.
Although, like, more gays.
Yeah. Lots of gays.
Like, it's a great job.
I've really, like, built a community of people that get it, which I'm grateful for, but, like, it's still the same job. So, yeah, I would say it was a bit of a learning curve on all ends. It was also, like, a big part on my end of what do I actually want to tell these people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A big piece I told my therapist, and I mean this with no ill intent, was like, what am I okay being questioned on? What pieces of my life am I okay to give? And then be asked why.
About. Yeah, fair. Yeah, it's not even, I think it's less for anybody who's stuck on that. It's less about defending it. It's about making the choice to not have to.
Yeah, and it's just, like, exhausting to, I'm sure many people know, exhausting to have to defend your life and defend your choices and
just to exist, just to live.
Yeah, and convince people you can make decisions for yourself.
Yeah, which also is a game you'll never win at, I will say. If you try to convince people that the way you choose to love, live, do life is right for you, it's a losing battle every time.
Yeah.
Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, make it okay for you. The people that love you will literally come to you. Like that, you're not going to have to fight for people to do it. It's back asswards to fight for that shit because people choose not to understand you. It's a willful choice.
Yeah.
If they understand love on any level, I'm sorry, then they can understand the way you love. If they actually understand love, then everybody can understand how you choose to love. Religion be fucking damned. And for the record, if you, like, believe in religion that is based on love, how are you? I won't. I'm not going to go there. This is your show. I'm here.
It's not my show. Yeah, and I think, like, lots of people's biggest concerns is, are you happy? And, like, I've had to reiterate this point many times in this journey that, like, if it is actually your biggest concern, and I've said this to many people, not just my family, if your actual biggest concern is that I am safe and happy, you should have no concerns. But if that's not your biggest concern, then say that. Because I feel like people default across the board of, like, well, I just want to make sure you're happy. Well, I just want to make sure you're safe. Cool. Then we're good. No concerns needed.
Yeah.
I don't know. Friends was different. I approached telling friends. Well, I guess family loops into this, but, like, I approached telling in general with the people I felt the safest with first. like building that confidence of like,
Yeah, like that's something that I hope I offer you to speak on, is like telling how you chose to go about who you told and how, because there was a not necessarily methodically planned out, but there was a thought to it for sure, who you told and how you told them, because it was a lot of firsts for you in those moments.
yeah, like the biggest, I always say this to everyone, the biggest perk of my anxious brain is that I can just like roll out, plan out every conversation and all the ways it could go in my head. So like I very much use that to my advantage when I was starting to tell people, was like, who do I want to tell and how is it going to go? And like Ashlyn, how many episodes can I talk about
We can
Ashlyn?
talk about him not, because it's really cute to see her freak out about being talked about.
Yeah.
If y'all don't know Ms. Hodgson, you should know Ms. Hodgson.
She'll be on the podcast one day.
There's no G though.
There is a G
There
though,
is a G.
which
I
is
don't
my pet peeve.
There's no hold on, because we're gonna spark a debate. This is fun. I like that we can spark debates with our people without them being on camera.
I
Yeah.
learned that I was saying my best friend's last name wrong for
So
like
it's
10 years.
spelt exactly the way I said it. There's a G in it on paper. If you write it out, is what I'm saying to you. If you type it out, it's spelt with a G.
HODGSON.
And so you would then say the G after the D, because it's son. Now, this beautiful fucking human being went and fucked around and got herself to be a teacher. It's all great and everything. And so when you call her Ms., it does something to your psyche. But when I was fake flirting with her, it's never fake. It's actually always meant. I said the G and offended her. Now, she's not that scary, but I had a moment of like, this could work, but I don't have a switch or sub body bone in my body, so it wouldn't.
And I'm sitting there being like, it's been a decade.
And then I threw Jill under the bus, realizing that we had absolutely screwed up her best friend's last name, but also never been corrected till just then. So, excuse fucking me for reading, but that's dumb. But like, she's still great. So
she is.
Where were we with that?
I told her first.
She was the great first tell.
I did the math in my brain. I said, you know who's not going to have any questions?
Yeah.
Ashlyn. So I said, guess what I'm up to over here? And as you guys know from the many episodes, she has been the great human she is, and been like, cool, you happy? Great. And then proceeded to be like, what do I need to know to support you? And that has been her the whole time of like, even when I'm like, help, she'll ask questions in a way of like, I need to know this so that I can help you through this. So like told Ashlyn first, told one of my clients is high up on the list. She's also a great human. Told one of my clients, Julia, she was up there on like lists of knowing. Told a friend who's not a friend anymore. Fuck that guy. And yeah, then just started to like build some confidence of like, oh my God, nobody left me because of this decision. Nobody hates me because of this decision. Who can we tell next? My auntie was up there and she was like, are you happy? Cool, great. And it was just like building that confidence for me of like, okay, nobody's ran away. We can keep going. Started to talk about it on social media more. Didn't get death threats. Great. We're doing great. Didn't impact my business. Cool. As clients found out, they were like, that's fun. I'm excited for you. And then slowly my brain was like, we can do this. And now like it's still not all I talk about on social media because I'm still a coach, I still run a business, but like I'm never scared to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
I lose followers every time I talk about it, but that's fine. You lose followers anytime you talk about anything you care about, and they can hang out somewhere else.
Kick rocks, I believe is the term.
Yeah.
Kick a boulder, it hurts more.
Yeah. So I went the like, let's build some confidence route rather than just like shouting it from the rooftops.
Yeah.
How did you tell people?
Well, I'm estranged from my family, so I didn't really tell them shit. Which is also like, there's a side of me that I hope it kills them. I hope it destroys every aspect of them, every sensibility they have, everything they know. It won't, because they don't consider or think about me, and the ones that do still are proud of me and still think that I'm a part of the family. It's fascinating over there. Um, but yeah, I told friends. I don't even remember the order, because I think for me it was just like once I accepted it for myself, it was it. There's nothing about my life that didn't click with it. Like I've been this way, and not like by choice. This was the wild thing in my life, is my navigation of understanding why poly, why pan, why I am the way that I am. That rhymed. Um, whatever. Um, is like I've known that something was up with me this whole time, and not just the big what's up. This is no shit. Outside of ADHD and trauma and all the things, like there's just always a way that I connected with people. There was always a way that I connected with all ages of people, all walks of life. There's never been a time in my life, a story that I haven't heard from my family, from my parents, from the friends that I used to have, like just the people that were drawn to me all the time, and the way that I was drawn to them, and that I could make intense connections with people at the drop of a hat. Like, I've always had this grasp in my brain and in my being of loving everybody. I've never registered it in my being in a different place. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. I can remember the earliest times that I recall healthy love was never family. Yeah. So when I made that click, and when I made the ties to no shit, I am this way, it was never that it was meant to be a, hey world, I am this way. It was meant to be like a, confidently, this is who I am. Out of respect for the man that survived this long to get here, I am this way. I am exactly who I am. And I just stand on that. Yeah, telling people was not the same. Telling people, I think it was harder. It was harder, I will say. I'll say this. Now that I realize it, the harder part for me, and I was like, there was a part, but I realized the harder part was uh, telling people that I was pan and am pan, for sure. There was a big piece of that as navigating. I think we talked about it in episode 1 or 2. Navigating, understanding that I was definitely not straight, but knowing that I have, like, outside of Sean, and the ongoing joke was like, listen, that is a beautiful man, and if I ever needed to call one in for a teammate, Sean, you're gonna have to take that beautiful mustache off. I'll deal with the beard. The mustache has to come off. But just a quick kiss. I needed to know a thing. Uh, that's the ongoing joke. I knew I was definitely not straight. But like, there was just something about being bi that didn't sit well. But it was the only understanding, the only terminology that I had in my vocabulary at the time, and it landed better than sitting with an identity that wasn't all mine.
Yeah, I also think like I've heard this from many people, and I listened to a podcast called Made It Out, and it's about how people found out they were gay. And so many people say that same thing as you, that like they started with bi and they're like, it's not right. But I think at least going bisexual gives you that flexibility. And then most people have said like it just wasn't quite right. And then
Mm-hmm.
they go into like whether they're full lesbian or pan or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, it's like at least gives you, in my opinion, that flexibility of like I'm not tied to one
Yeah,
thing.
and that was the thing for me, and even in further study and further understanding of myself and research and listening and learning, was that like I more readily and acceptably identify as polysexual, polyrelational, as well as polyamorous, because pansexual is by definition all. It's the root of the word. It means all, from left to right of the spectrum, all inclusive. And something that I've learned about myself outside of being a safe kink educator, being a dominant, and being able to absolutely play with men in that way. Uh, the sexual component, like I have no desire, no attraction to men in that way, and there's a difference in it when it comes to play that way. But yeah, there's something about that one, and obviously for fucking literal obvious reasons that I can point out, and we don't need to consider my brain of why I don't register attraction to men, cis hetero men. But everything up until that point, absolutely, like, and unequivocally in my soul, the guard and walls go down. It's like, yep, 100% have found, would find, do find some version of attraction in my being for every version of that registered up into a cis hetero male. Mm-hmm. And so, to be over descriptive, like, I am polysexual, but to give you guys a base note is I'm pan. But to say that out loud, to stand on that, and to confidently be open with that was way, way harder. Like that one made less sense. They made more sense, but it made less sense because I still came from Christian background. I still came from being abused by a male. I've had to wrestle with my motherfucking sexuality since I was 5. Like, I've been in it and not known. And so to know I'm a black dude in this world. I see the hate. I know what this is like, and to know that, like, to adding to more layers to the things that can and are gonna and will wound me and can harm me and the people that I love was a big deal for me.
I also think, like, this is outside looking in. You can correct me if I'm wrong or you feel differently. I also think, like, there's far less hate. I don't know if hate's the right word. There's far less, like, slander and hate, will go with it because I can't think of anything else, for men that are poly than men that aren't straight. Mm-hmm. Like, women that are poly get shit on. Male to male, of, like, you saying you're poly, like, other males just think you get to fuck
everyone
all the time.
Everyone thinks it's the toxic side of the life. Like, not everyone. Like, don't get it twisted.
But there's far
there's
less.
So many. I would say the ratio is 80-20. I think it's 80% toxic, 20% healthy. Those that know and choose to see and understand that it's far more than that are great. But there's the actual application of it being easier. Jill is absolutely right. Men are pigs. We're fucking stupid.
Yeah, like,
dog. Yeah, good job. You get to do all that's your like first of all, fuck off. But, like, they do it. But the moment you want to see that shit, fucking, I ain't seen niggas do backflips like that in years. When I'm like, yeah, but you can come here too, boo.
And that's, like, the thing, like, other men, and that's what I mean. Is, like, other men seeing you come out as poly are like, sick, love that for you, and then you're like, I'm also not straight, and they're like, whoa, whoa, less cool, because
now, like, offended. I've had a few discussions about it, like, really, dog? Like, listen, I can go and tell you all the stories as to why. You're not going to like it. It's going to ruin your day. And, like, you're going to feel bad for having this fucked up discussion with me as is. But since you're making me feel bad, like, we can just duke it out.
Yeah. Where I feel like on, like, the female side, it's almost the opposite. Like, most females aren't straight. Some are.
Like, you, yeah. But, like, there's a rough. Yeah.
Like, there's a high percentage.
And that's not saying, like, they're lesbian. Like, they're just not straight.
No, like, there's a high percentage of females that are like, yeah, no, and, like, we're fine.
How many of y'all are, like, this close to just clicking the delete mail button?
Well, and, like, how many times have we had that? I watched all of my friends make out with each other in high school, like, and that's always been more accepted, I think, mostly because it's a sexual thing for men. But, like, girls kiss girls. Everybody loves that. Whereas, like, being gay as a man is not as accepted, you know?
Like, I love when you kiss people, but not for the same reason.
But, like, that's always been a thing of, like, I'll watch girls kiss. Mm-hmm. So, like, being not straight as a female, nobody really bats an eye. Being poly as a female, people think it's because a guy decided you should be. So I feel like there's a big difference in, like, the way both of our things are accepted, male to female. Yeah. And I heard this. Oh, my therapist said it the other day, I think. I was like, who did I hear this from? I think it was my therapist. Where I was talking about, like, one of my fears in this life, and we can talk about this. We've been asked, like, how we differ in being poly, so we can do a whole episode on that too. But,
that was a great. Thank you for reminding me. I forgot about that. That was a great question we got.
A big piece of, like, my stress and my anxiety in this life since day one with Ethan has been, like, I don't want to slow you down. I don't want to hold you back. I don't want to stop you from doing anything. And my therapist said the other day, like, or maybe I don't know where I heard it. I'm not going to quote anyone because I don't remember where it came from, but it was like, in this lifestyle, everybody's worried about too fast. Like, what if I go too fast? What if I figure it out too fast? but there's less of a thing of too fast and more of a thing of too slow. And that was a debate like you and I had in the beginning, was like, once you kind of figured it out, where like, this is who I am, this is how I am, it was just like, okay, go. Where I was like, well, hold on, I got a couple pieces I got to figure out. And it wasn't in a way of like,
I wonder if that affected how we were telling people or how we told people, or like if it was just a part of the process. Because I hear you saying like, well, yeah, because that's just who I am as a person, but like, no shit.
Yeah,
You're
and it wasn't
absolutely right.
It wasn't in a way of like, wait for me, I got to do these things.
It was not that. That's we'll clarify. I'm going to support her in that. It wasn't that. I never felt like that. It was just like it was a noticeable like not panic. Do you have a word for it? Because like it was like even you heard how I described how I told my once it was for me. It was for me. It was I don't fucking care if you like it. Yeah. So I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna do the thing. Meanwhile, Jill's over here like, no, I'm gonna do the thing. No, I'm gonna do the thing. No, I'm gonna get. No, you do. You boo. I got you. Boo. I'm gonna do the thing.
Like we're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. We're gonna do it. But like, can I figure out what girls I like first? Like, and that's also just like.
Love you.
That's also like my anxious brain is just like, I don't have enough pieces to
figure out what girl I like.
And it was just like, I don't have enough pieces to go and do the thing yet. And now I have enough pieces where I'm just like, yeah, it's fine. But in the beginning I was like, I don't have enough pieces. I don't know where to go. I don't know how to go. I don't know what direction to go. And like, I'm sure that did affect it in some way, because it wasn't that I was asking you to stop, but you also, like, out of respect, weren't going to hop on your Instagram stories and be like, me and Jill are poly. Like, that would have been fucking rude also. So there had to be a little bit of like a...
Yeah, but at the same time, like again, like it was nice because I didn't have to say it. Like I just I included it in my shit. Less about who I was doing it with, more about like, again, it was focused on me, and it was always the question like, can I take you today? Do you want to be tagged today? Can I tag you in this one?
And I would
can I hint at it?
I would be curious how many people put the pieces together before I said it out loud, because you were sharing things about being poly, you were sharing things about your experience, you were talking about it, and people knew we were together in whatever way. So there was probably a handful of people that were like, this means Jill's also this way.
Yeah,
that just didn't say it to my face.
Months up front, like a few months of people knowing that we were back together at all.
Yeah, like I started to get the DMs to be like, is that Ethan? Is that Ethan in your walking video? I can see Ethan's hair in that story. Is that Ethan in the background of your gym picture? And I'm like, oh, the people are catching on.
Starting to slowly figure
out. And it
out.
wasn't hiding it. It was just like, I didn't have enough to share at the time of being like,
like again,
announcement.
Even when we first came back to this, before it was like, this is like all poly. It was always just like we're just back. Like it's nice to be back. It's nice to hang, chill, do some life, and make food, and label free this time was, I think, is how we decided to try anything.
Yeah, and I think that was a piece too of like, what do you want me to say? We're just like back together. We're doing life. We're happy.
I think that's how we agreed to say it too. Like it was like we're doing life, whatever that looks like. And it's nice to say that. We talk about that a lot with our people. Like, even with my new connection, it's for sure someone that I want to do and share some life with. And when it's not, will you go out with me? It's, do you want to share some life with me? It's, it's a very direct question, because there's no time limit. There's no, it's just a very beautiful way to ask somebody to share some time in their life with you. There's no expectation on how long it lasts. Of course, the longer the better, but is it? Like it sometimes, short and sweet is exactly what you need. Like,
Brian was high on the list of telling people I was gay because he lives in this house.
Brian was the first to learn a lot of shit about us.
I told him to do it. He should have done his research before he moved into this house.
Brian came in and got a culture, which is funny, shock, and had to learn on the fly. But he did great, and now he's less traumatized, and now he weaponizes us against it all the friends.
Less?
But come say hi to the people, Brian. We'll wave cameras here, lean in.
Lean.
There's Brian.
Hi, I like my hair. I got my hair.
Oh, yeah, he locked it because I made him jealous. He's got to catch up, though.
He's got a lot of catching up to do. Yeah, I think that's about it, though. Like, I think that covers the basis of how I one about telling my family. You can disagree with how I did it. You can sit there and be like, that's terrible.
It is absolutely fuck you if you don't like it. And that's not coming from me. That's coming from like I'm a family anarchist. The same way people are relationship anarchists. Like, I don't give a fuck. They're just people. Are you fucking kidding me? We can argue about it. You want to ask me a question about it? I'll talk about it on the show. Let's do it. But like, her decision to do it that way is exactly that. Her decision. Maybe you want to understand more. Maybe you want to actually get tips because some of you are too afraid to post the picture of you and your threesome. Whatever it is. Well, I learned something about myself, and I should have fucking known. And like, I'm gonna dive into whatever this means for me.
Yeah.
Support it or don't, like, but I got shit to do. Don't care if you're here for it. Like, not out of hate, out of like, I come on, do the thing with me or don't.
Yeah, where I did far more math, which is not always the best. Like I have said it a million times. Like, I'm trying really hard to undo my people pleaser. So the people pleaser in me did the math on all the options to tell people in all the ways.
I had to hear like 63 of them.
Yeah, like Ethan,
and not even, and like, I don't, for the record, not give my opinion. I just sit and listen.
Yeah, like Ethan sat through a lot of like, well, I could do this, I could do that. Should I? And a lot of joking of like, do I go to family dinner tonight and just tell him?
Do I go to family dinner?
Yeah, and it just at the end of the
fun.
day was like, yeah, this is a thing I have to get more comfortable telling people, and this is a thing I deserve to tell people, even for myself. Like it, don't like it, whatever. I was very much done hiding pieces of my life in fear of what other people are going to think about it, and it just like it worked out fine. It was a little rocky, but like, make the decision that works best for you.
Yeah.
Stop worrying about, well, how do they want to know? How should they find out? What do they deserve? Like, figure out what works best for you.
What do you deserve? Like, this is about you. This is about your well-being, how you how you love and how you choose to navigate it moving forward. Like, fuck everybody else's feelings about it and how it's supposed to be done. It's about you.
Yeah.
And make it and stand on it and
the people,
talk to us about it. Like, I would love to talk to you about why I feel that way and what I know to be true. Like, owning it matters and making it about you matters, because you're gonna have to stand on that shit, not just then.
Yeah, and like, make the decision for you. Like, I was very conscious at the same time of like, Ethan and I have very different feelings on family, and it was also important for me to not do it the way he might have. Like, it's not up to anybody else, because if I, like, with all the love I have for this man, like, you're also going to regret that because you still didn't do it for you. Like, whether you do it the way
it'll satisfy the fuck out of me, but it won't be for you.
Yeah, whether you do it the way your family deserves, in air quotes, or you do it the way your person is telling you to do it, both are going to feel equally shit in your system.
Absolutely.
So figure out how you want to do it and then stand by that decision. And like, the people that want to figure it out will. It might take a minute. Like, there's going to be a shock factor with anything. Like, give people a little bit of time to be like, let me sort through this. And they'll either come back to you and be like, cool, I support you, or they won't come back to you. And that's fine also.
That's also fine. And I will say, if you are like me, checking your ego in those conversations will be the hardest thing you have to do, because like, there's a piece of this, you're not wrong. Like, fuck them. They are just people. But like, Jill allows me to say that without taking it to heart. Like, I don't say it and go, oh, I shouldn't have said that. No, Jill goes like, no, like, you're right. But like, maybe not that aggressive. Like, it's never me saying that to try to get her to do it. It's being like, I'm supporting you. This is how I support you loudly, and this is how I would do it.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do it, and that's okay. I like the way you're going to do it, and I support how you do it because I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
and that's it.
It's a nice reminder too. Like, as much as I'm not like, you're right, I'm gonna do it his way. I'm not big enough to do it his way. People would be like, what you up to? Because I would say it in this volume of voice, and they'd be like, didn't quite match, but close. But it's not like me jumping over there and doing it how you do it, but it is always a nice reminder of like, it doesn't have to be the way they think it is either. And they is a general term of like, you can find a happy medium for yourself, and people will figure it out or they won't. And like, yeah, it sucks losing people, and it sucks feeling like people don't care about your life anymore, or they care too much, or they're terrified of your life. But like, it's your life. So let people have whatever feelings they want about it.
Because you're creating it for you to enjoy it.
As long as you feel good about it, fuck them.
Yeah, that's great advice. And we're ending on that.
There you go. Now you know, but take the pieces that sit right with you. If I said something and you're like, oh my God, you did that, don't pick that piece because you're going to regret doing it. But if there's pieces that I said that you're like,
oh my God, you did that? Do that
one. But yeah, like if you're sitting there being like, I don't know where to start, like run it past us. We're open to hearing about it. We're happy to help. We're happy to be like your angel and devil of like, you're the devil, in case you're unclear in that.
Yeah, if you go to my Instagram, you'll see that I'm actually...
I'll tell you the aggressive way. I'll tell you the nice way.
We'll meet in the middle and we'll all hug and you'll go on your way and figure it out. It'll be great.
You can hire us to tell your family.
Yo, don't even fuck around. For the low fee of $100 an hour, I will make sure it's a whole event.
Like I'll ring their doorbell and everything.
I will dress up. I will make it a scene.
You can bring us a family dinner.
I'm about to start a side hustle. We're starting a side hustle.
Yeah, just bring us a family dinner and say these are my partners.
I just saw on TikTok there's a dude that goes around telling people's bosses off for them.
Yeah.
I'm the fuck down to break the news to your parents.
Like if you're like, I need to tell my family, but I don't currently have multiple partners. Multiple.
Well, shit. Can we stand in as your multiple partners?
Yoo-hoo.
What?
If you need our assistance in telling your family, we're happy to help in whatever way you feel fit.
Hire us. We're going to start a side hustle.
Yeah.
It's going to be an event. It's going to be fun.
Anywho, if you need us, you can find the podcast at Shifting Lens Podcast on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find me at Coach Jill. Don't know. You can find me at CoachJill.April on TikTok.
I'm glad you started to brought me back because I'm still on
and
the side
Threads.
hustle.
Had a couple Threads pop off if you want to hang out with me over there. Where can we find you? Tell the people before you.
Before what?
I don't know.
Before what? Before what?
I'm sorry, tell the people. You can find him at Fight Me on This.
Yeah.
On all his things. We love you. You can
find what's about to happen, Sir Lift, somewhere.
That's paid content. Bye!
See ya.